Though there are thousands of self-claim or real spiritual master who are in a continuous effort to uplift the consciousness of humanity, to uplift the consciousness of individual, and to enlighten, to help the people to achieve the apex nirvana. But still the scenario is so much opposite in this case. There is continuous effort on upliftment of consciousness, but seems like human consciousness is just descending. It is in a descending pattern. Then for every skeptical people, and for every people who think, who analyze, a question may arise. What is the real purpose of all these things then? Because in the era of science, though today is era of science, but spirituality, spiritual matter has vast impact on our life. Millions of people are following some master, another millions are following another millions are following another. Seems like billions of people are solely someone's disciple, or they are following someone's path. But the question is still on. So we have to be aware about this thing too. If we do not care about these things, then we will again get lost somewhere in the vicious circle of so-called all these spiritual things. And for me, it is a normal thing, because the very sense, the very meaning of spiritual journey is misunderstood now. We are not in a right path. Because one thing we must be clear, that we must be ensure that No any master can enlighten you. This is a fact, proven fact. There is no such master. There is no such any people, any enlightened people who can guarantee your enlightenment. Because enlightenment is an intrinsic process. It has no any meaning with all these outer thing, all these so-called materialistic thing, until we succeed to attain a attunement with all these things. This means we need to get attunement. We need to get prepared to ourselves to have a positive benefit from all these things. It is just like if you are not thirsty enough, then no water can fulfill your thirst. There is no any water which can fulfill your thirst until you are thirsty. Same to this. There is no any techniques, there are no any masters who can give you any fragrance of inner bliss until you are ready to grab it. But the most important point is, until you are not ready to grab the wisdom, no one can give you anything, any wisdom. But when you are ready to do that, then you do not need any spiritual master. You can just sit ahead of a tree and the enlightenment may happen. That is the vital point which is misunderstood by today's humanity, by all of us. We are thinking that the very master who are self-claimed or who are claimed to be a spiritual one or enlightened one can really help us to attain what they have achieved. But that is partial truth. That is one part of truth. But the most important and the most vital part is, you are ready or not. If you are ready, a stone or rock or tree or nature or anything can help you for enlightenment. But if you are not ready, then no any Buddha, no any Jesus, no any Muhammad, anyone, no one can help you. So you may have heard the very interesting incident about Lao Tse, who was a epical master from China. One day, Lao Tse was just roaming around because he was so much depressed that all his effort has gone in vain. So he was so much depressed, and he almost came to conclusion that now without or with all these things you have done, all these exercise, all these meditation, all these effort you had done are just meaningless, because they do not significantly help him to have an inner bliss. So he was so much tired, so much worried, and he was just laying down somewhere in the field ahead of on big tree. He was just laying down. A cold wind was blowing and just making him feel so pleasant. Suddenly his eye struck on tree, on incident happening in tree. He started to concentrate on that leaf. The wind was blowing, so the leaf was just fluttering. And suddenly, when the leaf, at first leaf was just moving up and down, just fluttering, but suddenly the connection of leaf with that branch of tree did get detached, and now the leaf start to fly in its own way. Seems like it is enjoying the freedom. In this very moment, look, in this very moment, it is said that Lao Tzu was enlightened. He attained that apex. He was enlightened. He was freed from all these old. And the thing that acted as a stimulant in this case was, before the leaf was attached with the tree, so it was bound to struggle. It was not enjoying the wind, but it was struggling with the wind. But when it get detached, the very moment it get detached, then everything becomes easy to it, everything becomes pleasant to that leaf, and leaf start to enjoy, leaf start to fly in its own way, like a free bird, like a free spirit. And Lao Tzu get the inner sight that the very thing which is blocking him from attaining that apex was just the attachment with the desire to attain that enlightenment. He was just expecting to get enlightened, so he was trying so many things, and that expectation was the really problem, really block, hurdle for him to attain the inner bliss, to attain the ultimate bliss. So when he succeed So when he succeed to just to get detached with that very expectation too, then everything, the very blocking, the very thing which was stopped there really get burst, and the very nirvana was his, and he was that very nirvana. That this is the point we all have to know. If you are ready enough, if you are prepared enough, then that a leaf also can be helpful for you to attain enlightenment. But if you are not ready, if you are just trying to get it, trying to achieve the very apex without being prepared yourself, and just you are following some master, going daily praying and doing something like that, doing the thing what your master have suggested, doing all these things are just nonsense until you get ready to yourself, until you are prepared from your inner being. No any single routine, no any single thing can really help you to attain that ultimate. So spiritual journey is not so much related with the spiritual personality around you, but it is so much related with yourself, how you are prepared, how you are ready. You are really ready to get the job, or you are just trying to show yourself that you are ready to get the job. If you are really ready, if you are really prepared, then you do not need to follow anyone until you but if you are not ready, then the very following, the very talking about, the very doing anything is just superficial. They have no effect for your inner life. So the thing you are seeing now, in all these things you are seeing, is just like all these things. People are not ready to get dissolved. People are not ready for their inner journey. People are not ready to get to free themselves from all these things, all these desires, all this ego, all these materialistic attachment. But they want to get spiritual, they want to be spiritual, they want to have attain enlightenment. And this is the very reason there are thousands of masters, there are billions of disciples, there are billions of monasteries, there are thousands of monasteries, there are thousands of monks, there are thousands of spiritual commune, but still the people are not enlightened, people are not blessed, people are not freed from all these things. Still they are attached. So-called attachment is the sole reason. Hence, that is the reason. So, the scenario is still not changing. And until the scenario do not change, the very chance of all this humanity, all this human society to get enlightenment, to get upliftment in their consciousness, that is not possible. There is no any chance of enlightenment by all these things, all these remedies we are doing. These are just a showing teeth of that elephant. It has no meaning to your inner self. It has no meaning to your inner bliss. So, now our perspective, now our way of living should be changed. And another thing you must be ensure, you must be well known about, is that enlightenment is beyond all these things. If you are not attached to anything, so-called all these materialistic thing, then you can live through it. But the very attachment is the real factor. If you are detached, but you are enjoying all these things, there's no problem. That will not hamper, that will not block, that will not be arduous, that will not be harder for your inner journey. The only very point is you just need to be detached from all these things. But you can enjoy these things. You can live in this world. You can have your own way of living. But you should be detached. You should be unaffected by so-called all these things. But you can just enjoy.